Hello and welcome to Global Student Voices, the podcast that brings you inspiring stories and invaluable insights from students, educators, and thought leaders around the world. I'm your host, Coach Martin. With nearly 30 years of experience in international education, join us each week as we bring you real stories and expert insights to help you thrive at university and beyond. Now let's get started. Hey, hello, and welcome to Global Student Voices. I'm Scott Martin, and I'm very excited to have Paul with us today. Paul, Udah's from ALU, and welcome to the show, Paul.
Thank you again, Scott, for the privilege of being here on the podcast. Thank you most importantly for being with us here at LU Kigali. It meant a lot to us, to myself and to our students, to have had you share with us, spend time with us. That time that you spent with us meant so much to us, and we are deeply grateful. I do not take this lightly. And thank you again for having me here again with you. It means a lot.
Yes, I'm so excited. One of the things that I've been thinking a lot about in education is joy in education. And I certainly got the sense from my time at ALU that it's a joyful place. You're a joyful man. And I want to hear more about that. But before we get into that, the meat of the conversation for me, tell me a little bit about ALU and your connection to ALU.
Oh, wow. I actually joined LU for quite some time. I've been at LU for quite some time. I've admired LU since 2023, May. And it meant a lot to me to want to make a journey towards being doing something that is mission centric, something that helps me, not just my passion, but helps me to be able to make impact on a larger scale, on a grand scale. So for 7 years, I've been into leadership development, capital development. I've done quite a lot as regards to people building, people project structuring and handling, all across leadership. And when I heard about LU and the model that it runs with, I was triggered a lot to want to go and understand what is it that they do. In addition to the fact that they also give certification, a degree certification on leadership, it has been a big dream of mine. So that's why I came. I came to LU, and a year and 6 months after, I'm currently serving as the student representative president here at the African Leadership University. So it's fun being here. It's mission centric being here. It's a platform that connects you with different multi opportunities and young people from different parts of the world. Over 40 countries. We have students hosted here from over 40 countries. So that's a big deal. That's a big thing for me at with LU. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. It's really amazing. And before I visited, I had heard about it, and I thought this is very idealistic. It sounds wonderful. Let me see how it is in practice. And I found it in practice to be exactly like they said. It's this very diverse, multinational, multi-ethnic learning hub. It's like an electric. There's a buzz just on campus, meeting with students. It's just always buzzing. Um, so, what is the student representative, the student president? What is your primary kind of role in that position?
So for me here at as serving as the president of the student body, what I have to do a lot navigate around the administrative side of the student body. The student body, we have thousands of students here, like I said earlier, from over 40 countries. So between the administration and the student body as a whole, and that for me is where I come in. My job is to be an effective bridge that conveys the message of the students to the administration and then the needs of the administration or concern of the administration to the students. The good thing is I do not do that alone. I have a number of other people in a team, which is like the Student Representative Council, about 8 of us, who ensure and navigate and to ensure that the student body here is well represented, because that's the first responsibility that we have, to represent the student body. So my role has a lot with being that bridge. Secondly, I have a lot to do with speaking with specific stakeholders for the development, the enriching, and the advancement of the student body that we have. For instance, we had the phenomenal Scott visit our campus. And now again, we have like two students who are going to be serving as interns with Scott. You see, That's my work. That's my job. I also handle a lot of negotiations. There's a lot of administrative work here, so there's need for negotiations. Two parties will always have some disagreement. It's my job to be the one who negotiates to ensure that you have what you have, so that there is peace. So we have that role, and then we have operations or project management, which is also a thing that I do. I handle a lot of projects for students. We do conferences, workshops, seminars, master classes that we had with you. So these are a bit of the things that I do. Most importantly, what I think is a critical role that I play is to provide solutions to the student body.
Mm.
I believe that leadership has lost its value the moment has lost its ability to solve or provide solutions. And so for me, I
Yeah.
spend most of my time here preferring solutions, being present for students, showing up when they need me, answering the call when they call, and doing a lot to ensure that the student life here is much more better and a bit interesting if you ask me.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic, and you're clearly doing a good job.
Thank you.
Um, for those that haven't met you, you're a very impressive guy. Um, you've written a book. Tell me about your book
Oh
and what
my,
it's about.
oh my, Scott, you are doing a lot to me right now. I'm high on the energy. So like I said earlier, I started my leadership journey in 2014. I've had a lot of
Yeah.
passion for building young people. I started from a point where I would consider a very failed sport. I wasn't so good at managing myself or leading myself. I didn't have any goal, any vision that was responsible for my development as a person. And so there were like 5 years from 2014 that I invested towards finding myself, building myself, being submitted to mentorship, understanding myself, just to be aware of myself, set goals, and then to build my life, and then to exit from where I was some years ago to where I currently am here. I'm serving as the
Mm.
first Nigerian to ever be in this office as the student president in a place where it's not my location, is not my place of birth, you see.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of growth sequence. I decided to put together a material that can help a young person struggling from the street, to show them things they can do with themselves, about themselves, through themselves, that helps them to navigate their growth sequence and become a global influence. So I titled the book You, the starting point to global leadership. Why did I do that? Because I have seen it. It has worked in my life. I have navigated my own path. I have grown it. And so for me, principles are universal. What other best way to help other young people by piecing together this material and sharing them to young people across the south region of Nigeria and helping them to produce and birth success? And that's what I've done. We've sold the book to about 800 young people across secondary schools, and we are getting feedbacks of impact that are being made across board. And that's the joy for me with why we wrote that book.
Oh, that's fantastic. What an amazing accomplishment. And you travel and get to do some speaking. I saw on LinkedIn you were in Ghana or someplace recently. Tell me a little bit about those opportunities and how does all of this fit into. Well, let's talk about those opportunities, and then I have another follow-up question already. Hey there, GSV listeners. Before we dive back into our conversation, I wanted to take a moment to thank our incredible guests, the students, school officials, and thought leaders who inspire us with their stories and insights. As you're listening today, be thinking of ways that you can support the guests of this show. There are links in the descriptions with just some of the ways. I'm Coach Martin, your host and your partner in navigating the university journey. Whether you're exploring university options, preparing for admissions, or seeking support during your academic path, my books provide practical guidance and insights to empower your university success. Join me in individual coaching, group sessions, or courses designed to equip you for university life and beyond.
I am from Brazil, but I attended an American school in Indonesia for my secondary education. So you know my situation was really confusing and really scary. Coach Martin really understands global students, and he loves helping us out.
Again, thank you for listening. Explore the podcast description for links and resources and contacts discussed in today's episode. Visit www.theglobalstudentsolutions.com to learn more and embark on your journey toward university success. Now, let's return to our conversation.
Okay, so I'm being somebody who is vocal and mission centric on building and increasing the quality leadership capital amongst young people in Africa. So we've leveraged social media to post, make writings, have webinars, have hosted conferences. In October, I was back in Nigeria to put together a conference that sat 1,800 young people across 3 states.
Wow.
On site, and to speak and communicate on the subject of leadership. So we're doing and creating such solutions to young people in my territory, Nigeria. It brings to us a lot of demand. Oh, we need you to be speaking here. We need to speak here. Come and speak to our young people. Come and be a coach here. Come and help us do this. So the bulk of what I was doing for the past 1 month within Nigeria alone was to speak to across 4,000 young people from over 20 speaking engagements, just to empower young people and be a blessing to them. So that's basically what I've been doing.
That's absolutely amazing. What a huge impact. Now, how does that coincide with your schoolwork? You still have to be a student. So how does that look like?
This is the beauty of being an LU student. Why? I prioritize and love the African Leadership University because of its educational model. First, the educational model is transformative. Secondly, the educational model is structured in the kind of way that you're not limited to territory, you're not limited to space. You can be in any part of the world and still be studying. That's how transformative that they are, you know. So I was in Nigeria for 1 month, and during the 1 month, I was still attending classes. I was still serving as the student president, able to respond to issues, delegate where necessary, and basically that's the scope of it.
Yeah, it is very unique. And it's not something, I think a lot of universities get so full of themselves and think that they hold everything within their space. What ALU has done is blown those walls off and given students
Absolutely
the whole world as their platform, certainly all of Africa. And it's just evident across, so far, every student that I've met from ALU has been so impressive. You guys know your mission, you guys know how you're going to impact the world, and then you just immediately start having a positive impact on the world. I just want to take all the universities across Africa, since that's my home. That's where I want to have the biggest impact. And I just want to say, hey, just everybody, just cancel everything, follow ALU's model. I don't know if it translates. I don't know if it works across everything else, but certainly it does work for you guys that are there. I've been saying as I've traveled that ALU is in my mind, is among the top 10 universities I've ever visited in terms of product, in terms of the students that are coming out of this place, what I've seen. And I've been to Harvard and to Oxford and to Yale, and I've been to the big name schools. I've been to big state universities. Purdue is right across the street. I'm on their campus all the time. Their students are really impressive, but nothing like the individual self-propulsion that I'm seeing at ALU, and doing it with such a diverse group. You're one of us. We've been working with global students for my whole career, and you are a guy who left Nigeria, went to Rwanda, and then is making it. You are doing it. And you haven't even finished your degree and been awarded your certificate. But you're already having that kind of impact, and we're seeing that in lots of different places. So, before I forget, if the book and the reason you wrote it and the practical application, if school leaders want to get a copy of your book, where can they get a copy?
Okay, so it's easy to actually get the book online on Seller, or they could as well just write me an email that the book is required, and then we send it across as easy as possible. Paul Udah Leadership Firm at gmail.com. As easy as that.
Perfect. I'll put a link in the description. So if you're listening to this or watching it, we'll have a link, and make sure that you can get a copy of that. I do think it's fantastic. I think it's really cool. It's self-aggrandizing. It makes me feel really good because the book I wrote is also The World Needs You, which is basically the same idea. I mean, you just came at it much more practical. Mine's um, much more like a teacher wrote it, and I think yours is I'm going to recommend in my next edition of my book. I'm going to recommend your book as a required reading.
Right.
I just think I just love the way you come at it, and I think it
Thank
does
you.
transfer across. I'm looking forward to reading it. I'm going to get a copy, and I probably shouldn't wholesale recommend it until I read it, but I am going to read it because I think it's fantastic. So, where does all of this lead you, Paul? Where do you see this? You seem to just be enjoying the journey, which I think is beautiful. Do you have an idea of like where you'd like this path to lead you?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, one of the things that LU is known for is mission-centric drive. So it will be somewhat incomplete, imbalanced for me to be talking a lot about leadership, write a book about leadership, and then not have a full grasp or to some degree of grasp as regards to where we're looking at for the big goal. For me, I want to really, I see myself work a lot in the corporate space and for government. Why? At the longer time, I want to serve as a consultant to government. I believe that there's been an increase on a global scale. There's been an increase on politics above leadership.
Yeah,
And I want to commit myself towards redefining that, helping organizational leads, helping heads of state, governors, mayors of territories to to understand to some degree and implement an impact driven kind of leadership because that's what is required now in these times. The numbers show for it when it speaks to Africa, the numbers shows for it when it speaks to the West, and the kinds of things that are happening, the kinds of cries that people are having. I believe that leadership existed with the objective of solving issues beyond playing political games or political power. That's my narrative. That's my objective. And so I want to serve as that person who helps to consult for young leaders. For instance, we've had the likes of Dr. Miles Monroe, who is late, who consulted for governments, who consulted for world leaders. And that's the trajectory that I think I want to really find my footings in the corporate space, be it as an operational manager, for instance, or a leader on an organization or whatever it is. But it has to be with the government. It has to do with projects. It has to do with the corporate space, and that's basically why you see a lot of energy that I exert is towards that space. Yeah, if leaders know better, I believe that people will feel better.
yeah. Well, there's no question about it, and like you said, the numbers are absolutely affirm that good leaders get reelected, right? I mean, you don't have to play politics. It's a very short-term vision, and I think a lot of good people are in office around the world and across Africa. I've met some very impressive people who want to do really good things for their people. They just don't know how to lead because we don't teach it anywhere.
Yeah.
And you are absolutely correct that right now the world leaders that many of us see in the news every day are very poor leaders. They are elected officials. They are not leaders in any way. And so I want to see you be very successful in that endeavor. How that path works out, it's an amazing vision for the future, and we want you to have that success. I wish you well in the path that leads you there. I don't know what that looks like, but that's your mission, so that you'll figure it out, and you're obviously well on your way to that. I'm thinking of students maybe listening, or parents, or school leaders, and saying, okay, what kind of student? Not all of the students who will have access to this podcast will be able to go to ALU, right? Because that would be thousands and thousands of a year. So what's the right fit? The student who's the right fit for ALU, and you just think, hey, if you are this kind of student, you should come. We would love to have you here.
So that's a very beautiful question. So any young person who has deep desire for global reforms, any young person who has a deep desire to want to reach the echelon of their purpose, the peak of their assignment, anybody who wants to to be guided to find a mission for their life. Anybody who wants to contribute meaningful things to the world, regardless of where they currently are, I would always recommend LU. It places you, it prepares you, places you in a room with many stakeholders that are your mission centric. And what that does is it gives you 2 years, 3 years ahead what you should have struggled for. So it's LU that gave me the platform to meet with Scott. So you can imagine the labor I would have had to go through to have to meet with Scott in the future. So LU serves as that bridge. It prepares you and brings you in close proximity with your opportunity for your boost. And that's why I'm really after young people who want to find their purpose, want to find something doing across the scope of your territory and the world at large. Yeah.
Fantastic. That I can't think of a better summation for our conversation. We'll definitely need to talk again, Paul. I want to get into the whole leadership model, but for this episode, for those students who want to have that kind of impact on the world, for those who are frustrated by what they see happening, what their elders have done to this place, and have that deep burning desire to have an impact, ALU, join Paul, join ALU, and make that kind of difference. Paul, keep doing what you're working. Thank you so much for being on the show. And if you're tuning in, thank you for listening. And join us again for the next conversation. Thanks again, Paul. This has just been awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning into Global Student Voices. We're committed to bringing you the best advice and to share stories from global students and educators. We need your help. Make sure you subscribe, share, rate, and review our podcast. Follow us on social media for more updates, and we'll see you next time. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.